Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here on today's show, my final Raiders mock draft in 2022. We're going to go through all 5 picks. We're also going to be looking at the biggest team needs for the Raiders and all 5 of their picks to give you the exact picks that they have. So what I did here is this. I used PFN's mock draft simulator, and if you guys want to go ahead and use it too, you can go ahead and do so. So what you're going to see are the players that I picked, some of the best players left there on the board, and I am still amazed on the amount of people that ask me, Mitch, what are the Raiders draft picks this year? Well, how about this? Vanna White impression. Round 3, pick 86. Round 4, 126. Round 5, 164 to 165. And then in round 7, pick 227. The reason why the Raiders don't have their first 2 picks, you guys can put it down in the comments because I'm not going to say it again. Here are the Raiders' biggest draft needs. This is according to me. I still think right tackle is the biggest need for this team. I still see defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback, interior offensive line. However, when you look at a lot of the Raiders' pre-draft visits, I think that they think corner and tight end is the biggest need. Maybe that's because they have their eyes set on some other free agents or some other trade candidates out there. But when I look at this Raiders roster, these are the biggest team needs as it stands right now. If you want to join me and Jeremy Chuggs for our live coverage of the NFL draft, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications because Jeremy and I, we're going to be live all 3 days, all 7 rounds. If you like what we do for watch parties, you're going to love what we have in store for the Raiders Report. It's going to be like free agency palooza. It's going to be like a watch party. It's honestly, I'm going to be here for like 21 hours over the next, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's going to be wild. So hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and make sure you're watching here on the Raiders Report. So when I did this mock draft, ran it through a simulator, and here were the best players available at 86. Now, what I did from the simulator is I just took the top 10 players that the simulator gave me. And the reason why I did that is because in recent interviews by Dave Ziegler, they have gone ahead and they said that they plan on taking the best player available. So that's what I did here in this mock draft. I went ahead and I took the top players on my big board available at each pick. So from the guys on screen, who would you draft? Would you take Myjah Sanders, the edge rusher from Cincinnati? Phidarian Mathis, the defensive tackle from Bama. You guys can read on screen. David Bell, Logan Hall, Nick Bonito, Leo Chenal, Matthew Butler, Sam Williams, Nicholas Petit-Frere, or Kirby Joseph. Let me know down in the comment section right now who you would pick at number 86. And my final Raiders mock draft in 2022, I took the guy highest on my board, Alabama defensive tackle Phidarian Mathis, round 3. Pick number 86. It was that between Leo Chenal, who I had pretty high, and I even debated, oh man, I already forget his name. Regardless, Leo Chenal, Mathis, and then the defensive tackle from Houston as well, where Logan Hall were the 3 guys that I was really going between. When I look at my scouting report here from Mathis, long player, got good power, and his hand usage is what I like to see from a defensive tackle. He played all over the defensive line with the Crimson Tide, and I know for a long time that this Raiders organization, they've liked a lot of the Alabama players. Why? Alabama players are pretty good. He's not super athletic, and his stats aren't entirely reflective of his pass rushing impact, but you know what? He did get after the quarterback, and when I look at the Raiders roster, they have good run stoppers at DT, or adequate run stoppers at DT. But realistically, Bilal Nichols is the only defensive tackle that I look at having the ability to get after the quarterback. So why not go out and get Mathis, who had 9 sacks last season, 10.5 tackles for loss with Alabama. And sure, those teams are stacked. They have first-round talent, second-round talent on the entire defense going up against college kids. But at 6'4", 312 pounds, I see that he can still grow into his body a little bit more, which is why I took him in round 386, and it's my biggest need for the Raiders on the defensive side of the football. Let's now go to round 4, and here were the best players available at 126. James Cook, the brother of Dalvin Cook, running back from Georgia. Wan'Dale Robinson, 5'8", speedy receiver from Kentucky. Braxton Jones, offensive tackle from Southern Utah. Jeffrey Gunter, edge rusher from Coastal Carolina. Dominique Robertson, I really like his upside. Zion McCollum, cornerback from San Houston State. Joshua, offensive tackle from North Carolina. Zudu Jesse Luketa, the edge rusher from Penn State. Brian Robinson, and then Zach Tom. 2 first names, Zach Tom. The pick that I went ahead and went with is, well, how about this? You guys go down and you let me know first down in the comments section. If you've watched the Raiders report before, you're probably not going to be too surprised about the name that I'm going to go with. I really sat here and it was between Dominic Robinson, Wan'Dale Robinson, and then Zion McCollum. So with the round 4 pick at 126, the Las Vegas Raiders in my final mock draft are going to take Sam Houston State corner Zion McCollum. And I love this kid's athletic ability, and I would love to see what he would be able to do with Patrick Graham and this defense. He's a ball hawk with unreal athleticism and testing. If he went to a D1 school, I think he's athletic enough to be a first-round pick. Like, I'm not kidding you. 5-year starter in college with special teams value. That's really important because Josh McDaniels, these Patriots guys, they look for corners with special teams value. Competitive competition jump coming, no doubt about that, from the FCS level to the NFL. But you know what? He's 6'2", he's 200 pounds. The athletic traits, I see it on tape. I think it's going to be a good transition to the NFL. And in the 4th round, if you're able to find somebody who can just be a really good special teams player and then be more of a depth guy, I'm okay with it. The Raiders also, the amount of pre-draft visits that they have had at corner tells me that they're interested in corner. I don't anticipate him putting up 3 interceptions, 8 pass breakups at the NFL level. But you know what? He's going to be able to come in, and he's going to be able to compete, which is what I want. Trayvon Mullen, good corner, but he's not a number 1. Rock Ya-Sin, good corner. I don't know if he's a number 1 yet. So if you're telling me right now I can go out, get a player with a lot of upside, and he doesn't have to play right away, I'm on board for that, which is why I went with Zion McCollum. Now, guys, we're going to be live at Chat Sports for the entire NFL draft, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got those notifications turned on, and let's get Chat Sports to 300,000 subscribers. All 3 days, all 7 rounds. It's going to be all the team over there. I'm also going to be joining in here and there as well. If you love the NFL draft, we get the picks before you see them on TV, analysis on everyone. Nobody does the amount of homework on the NFL draft that Chat Sports does. And I want to prove it to you. So subscribe, join the show, and if you don't like it, cool part is it doesn't cost anything. Let's go now to the 5th round here, and I'm just going to show you the best players available at 164 and 165. Why? Because we got back-to-back picks. So essentially what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take 2 players off the board that you see on screen right now. Damon Pierce, Chris Paul, Damari Mathis, Smoke Monday, Lucas Kroll, Matt Hennessing, D'Angelo Malone, Zamir White, Cole Turner, and a Caleb Evans, the cornerback from Missouri. So, with the 5th round pick at 164 in my final Raiders mock draft, I'm going to go ahead and take D'Angelo Malone, the edge rusher from Western Kentucky. Is he an edge rusher? Yes, he is. However, I see him fitting pretty well in a 3-4 front, and if you could put him in as just a defensive pass rusher in a 3-4 scheme, that's where he's going to fit the best. Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year in 2021. I have a round 3 grade on him, and I actually talked to an NFL draft analyst and said they could see him going in round 3. Is he undersized? Yes, and he definitely has had some trouble maintaining weight in the past, but you know what? I think that might be because he's at Western Kentucky. You put him in an NFL weight room. Have you seen Deuce Gruden? That guy's jacked, and he's going to put some poundage on D'Angelo Malone, who's got the length at 6'4". Get a few more LBs on this guy. 94 tackles, 17.5 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. If D'Angelo Malone gets drafted in round 5 with the Raiders, all I'm going to say is this: I told you so. And then when you look at the Raiders linebacking depth chart, yes, he's an edge rusher, but he would probably be put as that outside linebacker, as somebody who can come in on your 3rd down, maybe give him 20%, 25% of the snaps a game, really let him pin his ears back, get after the quarterback, be competitive, and always be fresh. So, with that being said, round 5, pick 165, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to go ahead and take Damari Mathis, the cornerback out of Pittsburgh. And when I really sat down and I looked at some of these best players available, the reason why I went with Mathis just 100% with y'all, not because he's a big-time need for the Raiders, because I already went ahead and I took Zion McCollum, but the Raiders are going to take best players available. And Mathis was actually one of the guys that Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler brought in on their pre-draft 30 visits. He's a solid tackler, good run defender as a corner. I think he's going to be another guy, worst case scenario. He's a special teamer. He definitely is better in short areas than deep down the field. Luckily, you're not going to put him in those situations, and he is grabby at this current moment. And what do I mean by that? He doesn't trust his footwork. He doesn't trust his technique all the time, which then leads to holds. And I'm hoping you put him with a good defensive coach, which exactly what Patrick Graham is. Let him work with him a little bit because he's got a good build. Like, if you look at him, he's 5'11", he's 200 pounds, but he plays even bigger than that. And I like a lot of the technique that I do see. It just needs to be more redefined. It needs to be a little bit more crisp. But coming off a season where he had 43 tackles, 2 interceptions, 5 pass breakups, he is a player that I would like to see as a depth piece on this Raiders cornerback depth chart. And considering the fact that the amount of cornerback visits that the Raiders have had this offseason tells me that they believe corner is still a big-time need or a depth need for the Silver and Black. The final pick here, and I'm not going to show you the best players available because there are hundreds. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Moon, the Florida linebacker, at round 7, pick 227. Linebacker's still a need, and is he an outside linebacker? Yeah, probably at the NFL. 6'2", 245 pounds, 49 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss last season for the Gators, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. In round 7, you're essentially trying to just throw darts and figure out, okay, who could the Raiders go out and get? The only linebacker that the Raiders went ahead and they had in a pre-draft visit, Jeremiah Moon. So if he's still on the board, the Raiders had a meeting with him, I could see Dave Ziegler and I could see Josh McDaniels going out and getting a linebacker who's going to be a good special teams player for the Raiders. So go ahead, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. Here is my final Raiders mock draft of 2022, and it kind of brings a tear to my eye because I love the content from top to bottom. So what we did here is we took Fedarian Mathis, round 3, pick 86. Zion McCollum, round 4, 124, the cornerback out of Sam Houston State. D'Angelo Malone, the edge rusher from Western Kentucky, in round 5. Next pick, Damari Mathis, the cornerback from Pitt, at 165. And then Jeremiah Moon, the linebacker from Florida, in round 7 at pick 227. So what do we do here on the Raiders Report? I want you guys to go down in the comments. I want you guys to let me know what you're thinking. Grade this Raiders mock draft, A, B, C, D, or give it an F.